Now, happy day, my friends. How are you? I'm so happy that today is Friday. I'm so happy that you are here. Mhm. A rainy day today. Mhm. Ақтоты, Алтын, Айнагуль, Асель Жумбаевна, Айдана Каримова, Слуай Батырова. Now, thank you for your wishes. Менің даусым естіліп тұр ма? Слуай Батырова барлықтарыңызға жазыпты. Қайырлы күн, әріптестер, баршаңызды оқу жылының аяқталуымен құттықтаймын дейді. Келесі оқу жылына дейін бәрі жақсы болып, әрқайсымыз өз мектептерімізде сүйікті оқушыларымызбен аман-есен қауышуды тілеймін дейді. Бүгінгі курсымыздың соңғы күніне сәттілік дейді. Рахмет. Даусым естіліп тұр ма? Жақсы естіліп тұр да? Сіздерді көргеніме өте қуаныштымын. Так, рахмет. Жақсы естіліп тұр даусыңыз дейді Слуай Батырова. Так. Барлығымызға бүгінгі күнге сіздерге де өзіме де сәттілік тілеймін. Жақсы, соңғы күніміз жақсы болсын. Кері байланыстарымыздың барлығы позитивный болсын. Айдана Каримова, рахмет, естіліп тұр дейді. Түсіндім. Қазір уақыт болғаннан кейін бастаймыз. Так, бастауға рұқсат етіңіздер. Қазір бастаймыз. Now, happy day, my dear friends. Let me start today's session. Тақырыбы бүгінгі сессияның 5-6 сыныптарда тілдік дағдыларды дамыту ерекшеліктері. Peculiarities of language skills development in the 5th and 6th grades. 5th grades. Now, aim of today's session is support course participants with the opportunity to understand the peculiarities of language skills development in the 5th and 6th grades and improve their teaching. Have you any problem? Yes, we have some problem. What is it? Not all teachers can take into consideration student age and physiological peculiarities in the classroom. To understand what are the best strategies to teach English to the 5th and 6th grade school children first, we should clarify their characteristics and needs. Characteristics are they a longer attention span, applications, greater range of the activities possible in the class, need, opportunities to engage in tasks that require focus and commitment, knowledge of the world growing. More topics can be addressed. Stimulation, for example, information from internet or cross-curricular. The next, taking learning more seriously. Can be given responsibility. Change to be independent. Still, children have need for security and pleasure. Teach a sensitive to their needs and moods. More cooperative with peers. Can do more group work. Variety of grouping in class. Work on own, in pairs, in group, as class. Intellectual, motor, and social skills developing. Can be challenged more. Activities that challenge them. Developing own learning strategies. Children won't all react in the same way to the same task and topic. Change to personalize their learning experience. Now, strategies to develop language skills in the 5th and the 6th grade. Now, listening activities. For example, Simon Says. The classic Simon Says is great for practicing listening skills. You can use it to review body parts. For example, Simon says, touch your head. Or prepositions. Simon says, put your foot on your chair. Now the next listening activity is Mother, May I. Take your movement games a step further and play Mother, May I. Your students can use all sorts of adjectives to describe the type of the steps they would like to take as they race to the other side of the playing area. Now the next listening activity is Memory. Memory. Now what is it? Memory is great for learning vocabulary. Try putting a vocabulary word on one card and a picture showing the word on another. Or put synonyms or antonyms on 2 different cards. Lay all the cards on the table and have students try to remember where the matches are. Now the next listening activity is TPR. TPR. Total Physical Response is a teaching method that works really well with children. In essence, you associate physical movements with language instruction. Students move as they learn. They follow instructions, copy your movements, and get their whole bodies involved when they practice language concepts. This is one of the most effective ways to teach to children. Now the next speaking activities. Strategies to develop language skills in the 5th and the grades, 6th grades. Speaking activities. Now, speaking activities. Scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunt. Try sending your students on a scavenger hunt on your school grounds. You can tailor the items they are looking for to whatever unit you are in the process of teaching. If you want, you might have them look for items that begin with each letter of the alphabet, or items that are each color of the rainbow. You can have them look for certain shapes too. Now the next speaking activity is treasure hunt. Treasure hunt. You can send your students out with clues to solve and have each clue lead them to another. Hide your clues outside before class. Gugus. Gugus. Gugus fashion and gives students plenty of time to gather all of them before heading inside and discussing the clues and their solution. Now the next speaking activity is mastery bags. Mastery bags. Copy the pages of the picture book and make them into signs. Put these signs up around your school property and have students read each page and answer a question before moving on the next station. Now the next speaking activity is small world play. Try collecting animal figures that show up in a book or story your class is reading and let students retell the story using the figs. Try using this small world play when you do units on different subjects. Create a small includes play-sized items that respond to those found in the real world. Now the next speaking activity is mastery bags. Really target your students' sense of touch by putting items in brown page bags. Then have them reach into the bags without looking and describe what they are feeling. Now, the next gender discussion speaking activities. Now what is it? Rather than giving students a list discussion questions on paper, write each question on a gender block. Then have students answer reading activities. Words of pictures. And now reading activities. Reading activities, words and pictures. Show students images related to the text and the students work together to write down all the words they can see in the images or related to the images. Then they swap their piece of the paper with another group and write synonyms or related words in different color next to the other group's words. This activity helps predict words that might appear in the text and extends students' vocabulary. Now the next reading activity is remove a sentence. This activity helps students think about text genre and the likely content of each type of text. Using the same text as above, remove one sentence from each text. Students look at the removed sentences and predict which text they think they have been removed from. Then they scan the notes board and check their predictions. Now the next reading activity is confirm predictions. Confirm predictions. After a reading prediction task, students skim the text and confirm which of their ideas from the pre-reading task are mentioned in the text. Now the next skills are writing activities. Writing activities. Free writing. Free writing 5 minutes to write on a spark word determined by the teacher. Then pair and share. Now the next writing activity is flying balls. Flying balls, bouncy castle balls with a opening sentence are written on each. Toss a random one to a student who continues the ball rolling with the further thought or another sentence on the first. The ball is then tossed to another student who does the same. Now the next writing activity is modeling. Modeling shows them examples of good, interesting writes, key in on students' interests. Now the next writing activity is character show. Character show them examples of good, interesting writing, key in on students' interests. Character show a random pictures of the people from the internet. Develop a character from the image using prompt questions provided by the teacher. Now the next skill lessons. Teach writes craft elements in the chunks and focus on specific ones at a time. Examples are dialogue, developing setting, conflict, narrative point of view. Because language is abstract and the children are concrete, they may not be able to articulate grammar and other technical aspects of the language, and that's okay. Just keep things fun, active, pressure-free, and your students will be fluent in no time. Now the next 7-8 сыныптарда тілдік дағдыларды дамыту ерекшеліктері. Peculiarities of language skills development in the 7th and 8th grades. Now, the aim of this lecture is support course participants with the opportunity to understand the peculiarities of language skills development in the 7th and 8th grades and improve their teaching. In order to make a program of teaching English effective, we should first of all identify our objectives we want to achieve. It will help the teacher to apply the correct methods and devices to achieve the particular object at any particular stage. So it is extremely necessary to fix up the objectives of teaching English in the beginning. Read more technique English. So the objectives of teaching English in schools will be of language or communicative skills. The objectives of teaching English are to develop in students both receptive and productive capabilities. The student's role is receptive when he reads or listens, and the moment he speaks or writes, the ability becomes productive. Lastly, we may say that our approach in teaching English throughout school age should be balanced, and the aim at the English at the school stage must be to impart a practical command or the 4 basic skills for use in the widest possible range of the situation. The 4 basic communicative activities in language consist of speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Some activities that make for interesting in diverse speaking activities include Now they are conversation classes, the first of all. Conversation classes. Conversation classes provide guided and unguided speaking practices in English for language learners. The next, conversation clubs. Conversation clubs, this similar venue to conversation classes during which learners can practice speaking through oral practices, offering opinions and comments on controversial topics. Now next, dialogues. Dialogues. Dialogue is a natural speaking forum that second language learners find simple and easy to engage in on a variety of topics. Dialogues can be pre-written, prepared by teachers or the learners and involve 2, 3 or more learners at once in scenarios such as job interview, a good waiter, and a difficult customer or other constructing rules. Now the next, speaking and listening outcomes, simulations and role playing. Simulations and role playing is commonly used scenario in business and technical English classes. These provide their authentic speaking practice situations that help in preparing learners for real-life speaking situations. Now the next, speaking practice games. Speaking practice games. Turn-taking games during which learners give answers or comments on different topics or use selected grammatical structures and are fun and motivating for learners. Now the last, speaking and listening activities is songs. Songs can be used to practice vocabulary in oral, context, grammar elements, and connected speech. The teacher can use songs to illustrate a sense, lexis in context and pronunciation, as well, making songs a valuable addition to a series of listening and speaking activities. Now the next, debates and the discussions. Debates and the discussions. With sufficient skill levels, second language learners can debate sides, often as issue promoted in their city, a region or country based on any theme. Debates are also great for training multiple aspects of speaking in all levels of learners. Now the next, listening speaking activities, documentaries. Documentaries, audio and video of documentaries, are available either as a download or as online listening at websites or media production companies such as Universal, National Geographic, Discovery, Sony, Panasonic, and Warner Brothers, to name a few. Now the next, listening and speaking activities, audio and video interviews. Audio and video interviews. Interviews are archived in the form of the audios and videos online in literally hundreds of sites. With a large number of these available, second language learners have an extensive selection from which to choose to suit virtually any interest. Sites such as Mikhail Sonov's marketing, audio interviews, and seminar collections, and the top video sharing websites can prove to be invaluable resources. And the next listening speaking activities, podcasts. Podcasts, numerous podcasts updated from weekly to daily intervals and available online at several major sites. These cover a broad range of the topic areas, themes and subjects from politics to science, art and news. Old-time radio programs, not only are these programs from the 1930 years and the 1940 years and the 1950 years entertaining, but they are also interesting and useful tools for listening comprehension development with wisdom's crime, comedy, variety and mastery genres programs available. Now the next listening speaking activity, short videos online. Short videos online. Video sharing websites about offering English language learners a selection of available videos of virtually any topic of interest. Now the next listening and speaking activities, movies and screen clips. Movies and screen clips, another highly fruitful area for listening comprehension development, is used to clips from full-length movies. These can be used for prediction, debate, comprehension questions, illustrating accents and language variations, grammar in a context and vocabulary or lexis in context, among other speech aspects. Ask students to see which part of the text is most important, interesting, and which part is not interesting or important. Now, reading and speaking activities. They are arrays of interest, creative discussions, quiz your classmates. Now let's stop arrays of interest. Ask students to see which part of the text is the most important, interesting, and which part is not interesting or important. Now creative discussions. Prepare 4 or 5 simple questions and ask students to talk about those questions for 3 minutes. And after that, ask one member of each pair to go and talk to another person of the groups. Now the next, quiz your classmates. Quiz your classmates. Ask your students to prepare 5 questions about what they read. Once they have them ready, you can tell the students to make groups or 4 and then they can ask those questions to each other. Now the next, writing activities. Essay writing and project writing. These activities help to develop student language skills and make the lesson plan effective. Essay writing and project writing help to develop student language skills and make the lesson plan effective. The next lecture is 9-10 сыныптарда тілдік дағдыларды дамыту ерекшеліктері. Peculiarities of language skills development in the 9th and 10th grades. Now, the aim of this lecture is Support course participants with opportunities to understand the peculiarities of language skills development in the 9th, 10th grades and improve their teaching. English is traditionally offered as a survey course that serves as an introduction for the readers of high school reading and writing. As freshmen, students participate in the writing process by contrasting the statements and writing essays in multiple genres. Students in grade 9 should be explicitly taught how to research a topic using valid sources and how to use valid sources in an organized manner as evidence in making a claim. In all written responses, students are expected to be familiar with the specific grammar rules and their application in writing. Students will also learn both academic and content-specific vocabulary. In order to participate in both conversations and collaborations, students should be prepared to speak and listen daily in class based on the activity. In their analyzing of literature, students are expected to look closely at how two authors' choices of literary elements have contributed to the author's purposes. Students develop skills in close reading in both fiction and non-fiction. Close reading skills should be developed so that students can use these skills with informational text in other disciplines. Now grade 10. The vertical coherence established in the curriculum for English should be built on the major principles of writing and the multiple genres. In English, 11th students should continue to focus on the skill sets for formal writing using the writing process. Students can expect that they will be required to present information orally. They will also learn more about correct research techniques. The literature offered in grade 10 could be selected based on a theme such as coming of age or conflict and nature. Another format that will be used in selecting the literature may be coherence, where the texts selected are designed to complement or be associated with another level course such as social studies or science. In this arrangement, the literature of English may include selections from world literature texts that may be coherent with the social studies coursework in global studies or world history course. Students continue to focus on increasing their comprehension skills by analyzing both informational and literacy texts. They also examine an author's use of literary devices and the effect in author's choice has on the whole work. Finally, in grade 10, students continue to expand their academic and content-specific vocabulary. Methods to develop language skills in the 10th grade. For developing reading skills. Questions from pictures. Teacher shows a college and asks students to look at the college carefully and how some of pictures relate to the reading they did. And now the next. Questions from pictures. Teacher shows a college and asks students to look at the college carefully and how some of the pictures relate to the reading they did. Now character analysis. Character analysis. If you read a story, there must be one or two characters involved. Analyze those characters or prepare a set of the questions that you would like to make them. When all the classmates have prepared their questions, ask them to give you their answers and they then as a group try to answer the questions. Now prepare a survey. Students can prepare a survey about the information they just read using again the example of the moral and the values readings. Students can prepare questions such as: what would you do if you found a wallet near your house? What would you do if you found a $5 bill in the classroom? They can prepare a survey in class and ask the survey to their classmates, or they can go home and bring the results and report them during the class. Now parts of speech. Ask students to spot the different parts of the speech from the reading, then they cue their classmates asking questions such as: what type of word is moral? How would you use that word in a sentence? Now questions from pictures. Teacher shows a colleague and asks students to look at the colleague carefully and how some of the pictures relate to the reading they did. Now writing activities on the 10th grade newspaper editorial and me in 20 years. Me in 20 years. And now the next listening activities. Now it is break it up, how many words, correct the teacher, active listening information gap. It is for the 10th grade, a listening activity. Now the next speaking activities. Speaking activities, it is service and interviews, taboo, discuss and debate. Discuss and debate. Discuss and debate. Now surveys and interviews. Becoming competent at asking and answering questions in a language learning. In the simplest form of classroom survey practice size, the teacher hands out ready-made questions, maybe 3 for each student around the topic that is being studied. For example, let's say the topic is food. Each student could be given the same questions, or 3 could be several different sets of questions, such as questions about favorite foods, fast foods, breakfasts, restaurants, ethnic foods, home-style cooking. Then each student patterns with several others. one by one and asks them the questions on the paper. In each interaction, the student asking the questions will note down the responses from their peers. At the end of the session, students may be asked to stand up and summarize what they found out from their survey. Now the next taboo. In this game, one player has a cat listening for words. The first word is the secret word. The aim of the game is to get another player to say this word. The student with the card will need to describe this word until another student figures out what the secret word is. The other three words are the most obvious words that you might use to explain the secret word. They are all taboo and cannot be used in the student's description of secret word. This game can be played between two teams. It can also be played between partners. You can create your own sets of words based on what be studying, or you can find sets in your textbook and on the internet. Now the next speaking activity is discuss and debate. Discuss and debate. Discuss and debate. More nature students can discuss and debate essays with a partner. Then they can even be told which side of the argument they should each try to promote. This could be a precursor to a full-down classroom debate. Working with a partner or small group first gives them an opportunity to develop and practice the necessary vocabulary to speak confidently in a larger forum. Now let's review in the 9th and the 7th grades writing activities. They are newspaper editorial, me in 20 years. Now the next listening activities, break it up, how many words, correct the teacher, active learning, information gap. Speaking activities, surveys and interviews, taboo, discuss and debate. Now thank you for your attention. Have a break. I'll give you 5 minutes. Now let's continue our lecture. 11 сыныпта тілдік дағдылар дамыту ерекшеліктері. Peculiarities of language skills development in the 11th grade. 11th grade. 11th grade. Now, strategies to develop language skills in the 11th grades are speaking activities. Now, a short talk, pehakuka, and 2 texts. Short talks. Now, what is it? Create a track of the topic cards for your students so that each student will have their own card. Each student draws their card and then you assign them a time limit. This limit may be 1 minute initially and maybe 3 minutes when they have had practice. This is the amount of time that they have to speak about their given topic. Now give the students a good chunk of time to gather their thoughts. You may want to give them anywhere from 5 minutes to half an hour for this preparation stage. You can let them write down 3 or 5 sentences on a flashcards to remind them of the direction they'll take in the course of their talk. Now, the next pehakuka. If your students have laptops, are reasonably familiar with presentation software, then all that's left to acquire for this activity is access to an LCD projector. Students can have a lot of the fun speaking while giving a presentation to the class. Using projected images helps to distract some attention away from the speaker and can be helpful for shy students. Now the next speaking activities is 2 texts. This challenging task is great for more capable students and it all views reading. Having text in front of them can make adult students feel more supported. Choose 2 short texts and print them out. Print enough of each text for half of the class. Create a list of the simple questions for each text and print out same quantity. Divide the class into 2 groups and hand out the texts. Hang into the question sheets for later. One group gets 1 text, the second group gets another text. The text can be about related topics. Group members then read these texts and are free to talk about them within their group, making sure they all understand everything. After 5 minutes or so, take the papers away. Each student is paired with someone from the other group. Each student must tell their partner everything they learned from their text. Then they must listen what the other student tells them about their group's text. Students return to their original groups and are given a list of the questions about their original text. Students are paired again, this time with a different person from the other group. Each student must test their partner using the questions about the text which their father never read and was only told about, and likewise answer questions about the text they were told about. And now the next listening activities for the 11th grades. They are clips, dictations. The teacher is a MP3 player. Now the first clips. Short clips from the films or TV series are very motivating for teens and can form the basis for a number of the viewing activities for both bottom-up and top-down listening activities. You can use subtitles to help reinforce the sound spelling relationship or design activities where first the students listen with the screen covered or watch without sound and predict the content. The visual aspect also allows you to focus on body language or paralinguistic features that convey meaning. Now the next dictations, listening activities. Dictation. As well as audio and video recordings, the teacher is a valuable listening source in the classroom. Different types of the dictation activity can be used to help learners develop their bottom-up listening skills. It helps them to break down chunks of language into individual words and reinforces and the sound spelling relationship. Now, the last listening activities in this 11th grade, the teacher is the MP3 player. This is a very simple dictation activity that enables to speed of a dictation to go at student's pace. Choose a short text to dictate, and the students give instructions: play, stop, and go back. When they say play, you begin dictating, and they write down what you say. Carry on speaking until they say stop and go back. Then you repeat the last part and continue until they say stop again. Now the next writing activities are news reporter, set prep activities. New reporter. Incorporate lessons from your students' other classes by having them take on the role of the reporter for a day. Write a few other classes your students are taking on the board, then have them pick one and think of things recently discussed in that class. For instance, students enrolled in World History may want to write an article on the week's topic or another favorite lesson. Invite students to the front of the class to share their stories, to work on public speaking. Now the next activities, set prep activities. If your students still have to take the set, have a day or week dictated to test prep. Pass out lists of words commonly found on the set, then break the class into groups and provide each with a dictionary. Instruct them to write sentences or a paragraph with the words included. Make it into a party type game by drawing scoreboard on the chalkboard and calling out definitions. Then award the points to students who supply the corresponding word. Now the next reading activities. Carousel of ideas, ideas continue, and the sneak previews. Now, carousel of ideas. This activity helps CC find out what they already know about a topic and encourages them to share ideas about topics before they read a text. Before CC read a text, choose 4 topics that relate to the text that would be useful for CC to think about before reading. Take a large piece of the paper and divide it into 4 triangles by drawing diagonal lines from opposite corners. Write one of the topics in each of the triangle in the center of the piece of the paper. 4 students sit around the piece of the paper, are given a time limit, for example, 1 minute. They write as many ideas as possible relating to the topic in their triangle. When the time's up, they rotate the piece of the paper and have another minute. This time, they read the ideas already written down and add new ones to it. After a minute, they rotate the paper again and add more ideas. Repeat one last time until all CC have written in each triangle. Then they read all the ideas in each triangle. Ideas continue. This activity helps CC think about how much they know about a topic and share ideas with each other. The teacher says topics or ideas that relate to the text and decide how much knowledge they already have about the topics and writes them on the line in their notebooks. So if the topic is Australian animals and the student knows quite a lot of the right Australian animals, towards the I know a lot of about this ant. Students compare their exacting knowledge and those who know a little about one of the topics. Find someone who knows more than them and they tell each other what they know. Now last sneak previews are reading activities. Show the text of the IWB or with the projector for just 20 seconds. If your classroom is low tech, students can open their books and look at the text for just 10-20 seconds. This idea is for them to get as much information as possible in a short space of time so they scan the text or keywords that include the most important information. Alternatively, you could show students a few keywords from the text, headings and visuals, and they guess their relevance in the text. Now let's review skills of the 11th grades. Now speaking activities: short talk, aha, 2 texts, carousel of ideas, ideas continue, sneak previews. And writing activities: new reporter, set, prep activities. Listening activities: clips, dictations. The teacher is a MP3 player. Now do you remember? I'll show you once more. Mhm. Now, language development milestones, 10 years. Language skills are becoming more abstract and complex. Begin to read and write more difficult sentences. Analytical skills and other complex organization skills are acquired. Children use speech and the language for many social purposes. It is language development milestones, 10 years. Now 11th years. Expressive language, what the child says. Uses language effectively for a variety of the purposes situations. Participates in group discussions. Gives accurate directions to others. Summarizes and restates ideas. Organizes information for clarity. Uses subject area information and the vocabulary for learning. Give effective oral presentations. Can explain relationships between meanings of multiple meaning words. Now for the 12 years. Listen for specific purposes, narrative development, reading and writing. Reading and writing. Reading and writing. Uses more abstract and specific vocabulary and grammar complex sentences in writing than in conversation. From 9 and 12 years. Uses a variety of the words, not just the same ones over and over. Gives synonyms and categorizes in word definitions. 4 out of 5 words have a prefix or suffix. Uses more figurative language in conversation. Example, I am in hot water. Receptive language, what the child understands. Listens to and understands information presented by peers. Form opinions based on Now listens for specific purposes. Listens for specific purposes. Demonstrates understanding of grade level content material. Understands jokes and riddles based on a sound similarities. Understands jokes and riddles based on a word ambiguity. Understands most common items. Now the next, narrative development. Narrative development. Complex episodes. Multiple episodes. Stories include complex, embedded, and interactive episodes. Now readings. reads for specific purposes, reads grade-level books fluently, use previously learned information to understand new information, use reference materials, explain the author's purpose and style, read and understand a variety of the literature, compare and contrast in content areas, make inferences from texts, paraphrase content, include and the main idea and details. Now writing. Write effective narratives and explanations and several paragraphs on the same topic. Develop a plan for writing, beginning, middle, and conclusion. Organize writing to convey a central idea. Edit final copies for grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Now, milestones are divided into 6 different categories of speech therapists. Now, audition. It is listening. Receptive language, what your child understands. Expressive language, what your child says. Speech, talking or forming words and sounds correctly. Cognition, comprehension of concepts. Pragmatics, effective social communication skills. Communication skills. Communication skills. Now, language development milestones, 13 years. Follow complex spoken instructions containing a large amount of information, new vocabulary, and a complex grammar. Have an understanding of common simple sayings in context. Acknowledge and have understanding of others' point of view, even if it is conflicting and different to their own. Understanding factual information, but may struggle to understand information that requires inferring. Developing an understanding of sarcasm, however, this in exaggerated state with. Development milestones, 14 and 16 years. At this age, a young person will be able to understand long and complicated instructions with many different directions. Use the language they have been given by their communication partner to solve complex problems during a conversation. Understand the figurative language, make predictions based on information not given to them, and understand sarcasm. When they haven't understood their communication partner and will ask for clarifications and appropriately. The vocabulary of young person at this age will develop rapidly as they learn approximately 7-10 new words a day. Enable them to understand double meanings and subject words. Now, narrative involve lots of long and complex ideas. Be interesting and engaging stories. Now, development milestones 14th and 16th years. Young people should be able to use their language to persuade and negotiate with others. Keep up with rapidly changing talk. Switch their language styles to suit the environment, situations, and the communicative partner. The communicative partner. Now, let's review our language development milestones 11th years. It is expressive language. Uses language effectively for a variety of the purposes and situations. Participates in group discussions. Gives accurate directions to others. Summarizes and illustrates ideas. Organize information for clarity. Uses subject area information and vocabulary for learning. Give effective oral presentations. Can explain relationships between meanings of multiple meaning words. Multiple meaning words. Multiple meaning words. Now, "12 years." 12 years. Now, do you remember? Alright, in your copybooks. 12 years. Uses more abstract and specific vocabulary and grammar, complex sentences in writing than in conversation. Uses a variety of the words, not just the same ones over the over. Listen for specific purposes, narrative development, reading and writing. Reading and writing. Now listens for specific purposes. Listens for specific purposes. Demonstrates understanding of grade-level content material. Understanding jokes and riddles based on sound similarities. Understanding jokes and riddles based on word ambiguity. Understands most common items. Now the next, narrative development. Narrative. Complex. Multiple. Stories include complex. Now reading. Reads for specific purposes. Reads grade-level books fluently. Use previously learned information to understand new information. Use reference materials. Explain the author's purposes in style. Read and understand a variety of the literature. compare and construct in content areas, make inferences from texts, and paraphrase content, include main idea and details. Now writing. Write effective narratives and explanations under several paragraphs on the same topic. Develop a plan for writing, beginning, middle, and conclusion. Organize writing to convey a central idea. Edit. Final copies for grammar and punctuation spelling. Now, divided into 6 different categories of speech. The rapists. Now addition, listening. Now what is it? It is development of listening skills. In this way, children in this age are critical analyzing information when listening. They understand how the presentation or information may be after the message for audience interprets, and therefore are looking to make connections to what they are hearing and measure this against their own knowledge and opinions. Now the next, receptive language, what your child understands. Children are now listening increasingly complex information which may be presented by guest speakers, recordings, documentaries, or news reports. They are listening to longer recounts which may include arguments, historical recounts. Now children need in this to combine their receptive language skills with listening skills to understand which comprehension strategies best match the information presented. They are also planning prior to speaking and have a range of the strategies such as listening to others, researching and creating mind maps of the carrying out services. Now the next, expressive language. Children in this age are able to explain the results through discussions. What your child says. Now the next, speech, talking and forming words and sounds. Talking and forming words and sounds correctly. Children of this age are now speaking fluently and are using appropriate pitch, volume, and pause for phrases such as when public speaking. Children should have all speech sounds formed and no articulation errors. Now, comprehension of concepts. Children of this age should have a vocabulary which shows their comprehension of the concept, and certainly such as could, should. Children read text with increasingly complex plots, and their understanding of characterizing should be shown in their speech, with the use of the available nouns such as hero and valiant. Now the last, pragmatics, effective social communication. Pragmatic. Children of this age should have well-developed conversational skills and be able to use their language skills to negative in situations where there is conflict. Now language development milestones, 13 years. 13 years. 14 and 16 years. In this age, a young person will be able to understand what? Long and complicated instructions with many different directions. Use the language they have been given by their communication partner to solve complex problems during a conversation. Understand figurative language. Make predictions based on the information not given to them and understand sarcasm. When they haven't understood their communication partner and will ask for clarifications appropriately. In these ages, the vocabulary of young person at this age will be developed rapidly as they learn approximately 7 or 10 new words a day. Enables them to understand double meanings and subject words. Now narrative. Involve lots of long and complex ideas. Be interesting and engaging stories. Young people should be able to use their language to persuade and negotiate with others, keep up with rapidly changing talk, switch their language style to suit their environment, situations, and a communicative partner. Now, have a break, please. I'll give you 10 minutes for break. After break, we discuss all the lectures together. After that, we must discuss our short-term plan. I'll give you 10 minutes for break. Так, құрметті әріптестерім, мына жерде қызу талқылау болып жатыр екен. Молодцы. Мына жерде Ақтоты жазады. I think that speaking activities are very actual today because people speak your ideas in a free form. It's very good chance for everyone. Слуай Батырова writes, to my mind, all activities are important for children's developing, but speaking and the listening skills are the best for their thoughts. Nazgul Qismetova writes, nowadays, all students want to speak English because this language is very popular, especially 10 and 11 forms. Rayhan Aslıbekovna, these listening activities for 11th grade are very useful, especially clips. They can develop students' listening skills by watching clips with subtitles. Алтын Дәулетярова. Yes, Rayhan agrees with you. Listening is very useful and children develop listening and speaking skills. Бәрі бір-біріңізбен келісіп, you have them share experience. It's very nice. You share experience. You share experience. Енді қазір біздің уақытымыз қалмай қала ма деп мен кішкене қапаланып тұрмын. Сондықтан да қазір уақытымыз қалып жатса, жаңа тақырыптардың бәрін дискашн жасаймыз. Мен кеше де алдыңғы күнде уақытым болмай қалды. Мына short term планды дискашн жасауға. Соған қалай қарайсыңдар? Соған қалай қарайсыздар? Short term планды бәріміз бірге отырып талдасақ. Себебі мына курсқа қатыса алмай жүрген тыңдаушылар бар. Жаңадан қатысып жүрген тыңдаушылар бар. Жаңа мұғалімдер бар, жас мұғалімдер. Сондықтан, может быть, қиналып жүрген мұғалімдер болар. Сондықтан қазір бәріміз бірігіп отырып, short term планды дискашн жасайық. Қалай қарайсыздар? Келісесіздер деп ойлаймын. Содан кейін уақыт қалып жатса, біз талдаймыз тақырыптарымызды және жалғастырамыз. Так, құрметті әріптестер, мынау updated curriculumның жаңағы short term план жасаудағы форматы, кәдімгі қатып қалған форматы. Бұл сіздердің ресурсқа мен салдым. Short term планның форматы бар. Соны сіз копировать етіп аласыңыз, та осы форматты. Сосын барып, мына жерде long term план деп тұр. Яғни бұған сіз юниттер жазасыз және юниттің тақырыбын жазасыз. Не жирный. Себебі мына жердегілер бәрі жирныймен тұр, а сіз жазасыз не жирный. Содан кейін барып жаңа мына жерде числосын, классын жазасыз. Сосын барып сабақтың тақырыбын жазасыз. You must write here lesson title or lesson C. Содан кейін барып мына жерде мектептің атауын жазасыз, ресми атауын, сосын өзіңіздің аты жөндеріңізді жазасыз, ары қарай түсінікті. Енді келесі шаг не? Сіз жаңағы программадан нені таңдап алуыңыз керек? Learning Objectives'ді таңдап алуыңыз керек. Қазір мынау бір тыңдаушы екеуміздің жасаған short term планымыз. Соны мысалға алып, сіздермен бірге жаңа дискашн жасағым келіп тұр. Так, first of all, we choose learning objectives from subject program. It is 8th grade. Now, the number 1, it means content. Okay? Do you agree with me? Так, content 6 and 1. organize and present information clearly to others. Now the next. It's great. Так, what means the number 3? Content, listening. Now what is it? Content, listening, speaking. Да? Speaking 7 and 1. Use appropriate subject-specific vocabulary and a syntax to talk about a range of the general topics and some curricular topics. Now the next 6. Now the last. What skills is it? 6, for example, it is use of English. It's great use of English. 13 and 1. Use a growing variety of model forms for different functions: obligation, necessity, possibility, permission, requests, suggestions, now etc. Так, біз міне оқу мақсаттарын бағдарламадан таңдап алдық. 3 мақсатты. Біріншісі content болды, екіншісі speaking болды, үшіншісі use of English 13 болды. Таңдап алдық. Енді осыған байланысты біз не істеуіміз керек? Сабақ мақсаттарын жасауымыз керек. Сабақ мақсаттары Bloom таксономиясы сүйене отырып бөлінеді. Солай ма? Яғни smart сабақ болады. Алдында бізде айттық қой, differentiation by what? By objects, by targets. Яғни мақсаттарына байланысты да бізде дифференциация болады, саралау мақсаттары болады. Міне соны мен қазір сіздерге айтайын. All learners will be able to. Яғни сіздің сыныбыңызда 25 бала отыратын болса, соның барлығы жасайтын жұмысымен. Memorize. Бұл арада сіз неге көңіл аударуыңыз керек? Сіз академический жетістіктерге көңіл аударуыңыз керек. You must pay attention academic verbs by Bloom taxonomy. After the choosing learning objectives, you must make up lesson objectives using the academic verbs by Bloom taxonomy. Now, for example, for the all learners, here use academic verbs memorize, for example, memorize. The next develop. The next paraphrase. The next understand. You may pay attention on the first and the second line. Өткендерде мен сіздерге көрсетіп едім ғой. Сол графаларды бөліп тұрды ғой. Bloom таксономиясы action verbs деп. Міне соның жаңа бірінші, екінші линиясын қарасаңыз, сіз memorize, develop, paraphrase and understand деген жетістіктерді көре аласыз. Міне соны қолдана отырып, оқу мақсаттарын жасау. Memorize school related vocabulary, develop logical thinking, paraphrase the main idea, and understand and classify how to use model verbs. Әрине, бұлардың бәрі алынған тасттерге де байланысты, өте байланысты. Сол активитилардан шығартылардың барлығы. Мына сабақ мақсаттарды. Келесі, most learners will be able to apply. Көз алдыңызға елестетсеңіз, мысалға, мына actions verbs'ді apply. Қай жерде тұрады? Үшінші және төртінші графаларда тұруы мүмкін да? Apply, articulate, опять же develop, and choose. Apply phrases connected with theme. Articulate about school life and the rules. The next, develop the ability to use a wide range of the models. The next, choose the correct modal verb in sentences. Now, the next, some learners will be able to predict, differentiate, write an opinion essay, and express. Now, predict definitions and give examples. They are high water thinking skills. It is for the high water thinking skills. Differentiate advantages and the disadvantages of the school life. Write essay and express own opinion and give advice. After the making lesson objectives, through these lesson objectives, through the learning objectives, you must make up assessment criteria. Now what does it? What develop logical thinking by applying phrases connected with theme. Express oral communication by using models. Так, бұның тақырыбы жаңағы не? Unit 9, World of Work деген жаңағы юниттің тақырыбы, бірақ сабақтың тақырыбы қандай? School Life. Нешінші класс? 8-ші класс. Қандай skillsдар? Content, speaking and the use of English. Міне осы through three skills, they make up lesson objectives. With how many lesson objectives? There are a variety of the lesson objectives. Now, pay attention to value links. Value links деген құндылықтар, ценности. Бұл не деген сөз? Бұл сабақтың тәрбиелік мәні, тәрбиелік мақсаты деген сөз. Мына a secular society with high мәңгілік ел 3 деген қайдан аласыздар? Оны хандауытты мен жаңа ресурсқа салдым. Хандауыттың 2-ші, 3-ші бетінде осы мәңгілік елдің 7 құндылығы тұр. Соны оттуда вы копируете и ставите сюда же. Қалай? Просто так па? Жоқ, просто так емес. Ол сіздің бірінші тақырыбыңызға, юниттің тақырыбына байланысты, және сабақтың тақырыбына байланысты, және сіздің сабақ мақсаттарына байланысты. Сіз не істейсіз? Таңдап аласыз. Соның ішінен мінекей мына жерде sootwestствует according a secular society. Мәңгілік ел 3. Соған байланысты өз сөзіңізбен бұл сабақта қандай тәрбиелік мақсаты бар екен? Мінекей to improve the economy, successful development of the national education system, health, here and the culture. Енді starting. Так, start мінекей жирныймен тұрады. Енді соны минуттармен, вақыттармен бәрін бөлесіздер. Мына жерде міндетті түрде creatingіз немесе brainstormingіз. Мінекей міндетті түрде мына жерде стратегия no hands questioningізбен жасалған. No hands questioning деген. Бұл қандай стратегия? Бұл қандай активити? Әсіресе бізде сабақты өте жақсы біліп отырса да қолын көтермейтін балалар болады. Немесе определенный жаңағы балалар болады. Определенный подходты талап ететін балалар болады. Міне соған сіз карточкалар дайындайсыздар. You must prepare for them creative cards. It names no hands questioning. Соларды топтап бересіңізді үлестіріп, сосын именно сол балаларға сіз сұрақ қоясыз. You must ask them questions, own questions for them. Так, мысалы, одаренный балаларға сіз high water thinking балаларға қиын сұрақтарды қоясыңыздар, немесе басқа балаларға сіз өздерінің деңгейіне байланысты сұрақтарды қоясыңыз. Мінекей, students aware that those required to give an answer will be selected by the teacher. Teacher leads them to this as questions are asked, linked to thinking time. Improves engagement and challenges all pupils to think. When linked to thinking time, pupils share ideas and position their own views in relation to others. Так, немен жалғасады? TPA activityмен жалғасады. Мына жерде қараңыздар. Және мына жерде көңіл аударыңыздар, мына жерде ресурстар тұру керек. Resources. Мына жерде ресурстардың барлығы дайын тұру керек. Так, мінекей TPA activityмен бұл сабақ жалғастырылып тұр. Окей. Сұрақтар дайын тұр мінекей. Содан кейін бар. The teacher combines the sentence with the TPA command, finds the tail of the sentence and guess. Each of the representatives choose one stripe and should guess the meaning. Time is given. Students divide into two groups by finding the tail of the sentence and guess what it is. Так, балалардың орналасуы қандай міне? In updated curriculum, please collaborate style. The groups childhood and friendship. Жаңағы екі топқа бөлінеді. They are dividing into two groups. The first group childhood, the second group friendship. This simple activity can activate many interesting memorizing. Lots of useful school-related vocabulary. Develop logical thinking. Так, now presentation of the theme and the objectives of the theme. Please your opinion. What will be the theme of the lesson today? Яғни, жаңағы сабақтың тақырыбын анықтап алу үшін презентация көрсетіледі, және сабақтың мақсаты айтылады мына жерде. Міне сол талданып, оның жауабын алғаннан кейін балалар school life екенін біледі. Содан кейін бар, осыған дескриптор жасалынған. Learners interact with each other, collect ideas and guess. Так, міне соларға сразу же формативный оценивание беріліп кетеді. Жаңағы сабақты анықтаған үшін, жаңағы группаларға бөлініп жұмыстарды жасаған үшін, оларға бірден балалардың мотивациясын көтеру үшін, оларға talk to each other стратегиясы арқылы формативное оценивание жүргізіледі. Яғни peer assessment называется. Так, қазір мен жауап сіздердің мен бірге талқылайын. Не болып жатыр, қалай түсініп жатыр екенсіңдер. Так, сабақты талқылап жатырмыз. Сұрақтарыңыз бар ма? Жаңағы learning objectives туралы және lesson objectives туралы. Және сонымен қатар about values. Have you any questions? Have you any questions? About learning objectives, about lesson objectives, and about values. Мәңгілік ел. Сұрақтарыңыз бар ма? Менің даусым естіліп тұр ма? Мәңгілік елді қайдан алатын болдық? Мәңгілік елдің жаңа құндылықтарын қайдан алатын болдық? Хандауыттан аламыз да? Хандауыттан скопировать етіп, мына жерге таңдап саласыздар. Неге байланысты саласыңдар? Енді ол мұғалімнің шеберлігіне байланысты. I didn't use no hands questions дейді. Ол мұғалімнің шеберлігіне байланысты. Ол барлығына бірдей осы стратегияны қолданыңыз деп айтып жатқан жоқпыз. So I'll use it in the future. Иә, жақсы, хорошо. Now hands questions деген стратегиялар жақсы әдемі шығатын стратегиялар. Now have you any questions about the valleys? I'm waiting for you. About valleys. Have you any questions? Сендерді күтіп отырғанда уақыт көп кетіп қалатын сияқты. Онда мен жалғастыра берейін. Жаңа қай жерден қалып едік? Так, TPA мінекей. Екі топқа бөлінді. Childhood and friendship. Содан кейін бар presentation да. Так, презентует. Сосын сабақтың мақсатын анықтап алады. Содан кейін бар формативный оценивание идет. Әрбір тасттан кейін негізі формативный оценивание болған дұрыс. Это PSI называется. Формативный оценивание жирный етіп жазып, үлкен әріптермен жазасыздар. F, вот F, the letter F, point, and the letter A. Talk to each other деген стратегияның атауы. Содан кейін бар уже ортасында, сабақтың ортасында мінекей speakingнен басталған. Speaking бізде мына жерде бар ма? Так, мінекей speaking мін тұр. 8th grade, speaking 7. Use appropriate subject-specific vocabulary and the syntax to talk about the range of the general topics and some curricular topics. Speaking бар екен. Так, жақсы. Speaking мінекей. Pre-speaking да. Мінекей, егерде сіз skill speaking да алатын болсаңыз, сонда pre-speaking, подготовка да? Значит, introduction да не болу керек. Міне vocabulary in context деген стратегия арқылы жұмыс жасалынады мына жерде. With the support of the teacher, students highlight specific words in text, then interpret the definitions of those items. Көрдіңіздер ме? Now what is it? Phase. The phase in a person's life. Personality. Character, persona, develop his personality. Мінекей анықтамалар беріп түсіріледі. Жаңа pre-speakingнің алдында мыналардың барлығына анықтама беріледі. Содан кейін some pieces of the device. We should always study phrases. В общем, мынаны уже discussion жасайды да, сол pre-speakingнің тапсырмасына не қойылады, жасалынады? Descripts. After every task, you must make up for this task descriptor. Now, for example, organize informational clearly. The next, increase intercultural awarenesses through discussion. Опять же, на жерде идет формативное оценивание. Так, келесі pre-speakingнан кейін уже while speaking. Now, what means the letter J? It means group work or collaborative work. After that, вот запятой и маленький F, это означает, что это формативное оценивание. After that, teacher gives the resources, и идет differentiation by interaction и by resources. Now, while speaking, да. While speaking, да. Differentiation by interaction and by resources. It's collaborative learning or group learning. Так, содан кейін барып не болады? Так, соның басында introduction. Сосын сұрақтар беріледі. Мынандай тапсырмалар ресурстардың барлығы оқушыларға беріледі. Мінекей. Содан кейін бір post speaking. Post speaking differentiate advantages and the disadvantages of the school life. Осындай тапсырма беріледі. Но instruction да, нұсқаулығы. Бұған тағы да не жасалынады? Descriptor жасалынады. Paraphrase the main idea. Articulate about school life and the rules. Differentiate advantages and the disadvantages of the school life дейді. Так, енді бұнда да формативный оценивание идет. Мінекей мынандай Lee Schulman's assessment деген activity бойынша. Так, тағы да келесі. Міне бізде speaking бітті. Speaking бітті. Жаңағы. Міне while speaking. Келесі. Post speaking'да differentiation болды. Мінекей post speaking. Так, содан кейін бар speaking'ді біз бітірдік, оценивать еттік. Енді опять же differentiation by tasks. Use of English'та. Так, тапсырмалар яғни бөлінеді. Бірінші группаға мынандай тапсырма береді. Complete the sentences using must and must, should, shouldn't. Келесі группаға choose the correct word. Үшінші группа answer the questions. Так, оған descriptor жасалынады. Fill the necessary modal verb. Choose the correct modal verb. Answer the questions. Classifying the modals. Оған да мінекей формативное оценивание, self-assessment. Where am I? Every student on his or her ladder, they assess yourselves. Так, на фидбэкта мінекей термометр деген стратегиямен by sticks. They have. In conclusion, I have understood everything I can. I have some questions and I'll try with your support деген feedback жасалынады. Содан кейін бар мінекей общий evaluation sheet. Вот at the lesson I was active and passive. Отмечает, тик делает. The material we stood was interesting or useful or boring or useless. Так, the lesson was short or long. By the end of the lesson, I've got tired, I haven't got tired. The homework is easy or difficult or interesting or boring. Міне, осылай етіп, 8-ші сыныпта Так, келесі, біздің уақытымыз азғантай қалып жатыр. Давай келесі сабақты тез-тез талдап тастайық бірге. Так, мінекей. A reading for pleasure. Now 6th grade. Lesson title. Ер төстік. Мінекей learning objectives. How many? 1, 2, 3. Now you identify learning objectives. Here, the title of the lesson is Ер төстік. And through the learning objectives, you must make up lesson objectives. Now here, all learners read the text in detail. Read. Text the next. Understand the main idea of the text. Now the next. List main events. Так, most learners identify details of a text. Определяет. Draw a story map. Complete the table. Так, келесі. Some of the learners share ideas. Give a summary of a story. Так, содан кейін бар. Assessment criteria you must make up. After that, you complete the valley links. What? Common history, culture, and the language. Мәңгілген 6. To raise learners' love for reading, to bring up patriots of our country. Так, содан кейін мінекей greetings. Magic mirror деген активитимен жасалынған. Мінекей содан кейін бар brainstorming. Мына жерде resources you see. И определяет они through the brainstorming the title of their lesson. Ер төстік. After that, pre-reading. Here, using the strategy think, pair, share. After that, after the task, making here descriptor и formative assessment. Так, here you see differentiation by tasks. Tasks are set according to students' abilities. мінекей while reading the using skimming and scanning techniques what divided into groups, A group and the B group. These pupils answer the probing questions. Here you see resources. What questions you see, and the answer here. And the group C map the character with the activity, with the strategy. They complete this. Describe the chart with the text geared to stick. Here we given descriptor. After that, assessment, peer assessment, talk to each other using the strategy. Differentiation by spot of the friend. Now post reading the опять divided into groups A, B groups, and using the story map strategy here, and 4 sentences here using the strategy, and they're making descriptors, corrects, completes, and summarizes. And here we see group assessment using worksheet. After that, you see writing and speaking skills. It is group work, and you see formative assessment. Так, write penguin strategy. And the possible answer here, you see. And so next group B completes the spidergram with the strategy. Вот смотрите. И here answers. And the group C descriptive writing with the strategy. See, do this task. It given descriptors. And here you see group assessment using the strategy 2 stars and 1 wish. After the feedback with the strategy, the later of the success. I'll prepare with variety of the short-term plan, but we have no time. That is why let's discuss together this. Let's discuss this short-term plan. Алтын Дәулетьяров, thank you, Jim Sanesna. I am grateful to you for explaining the short-term plan. Алтын, рахмет. Айнагүл Арстанова, no questions, everything is clear for me. What does TPR stand for? TPR? TPR-ны білмейсіңдер ме, қыздарым? Алтын Дәулетьяров, thank you, Jim Sanesna. I am grateful to you for explaining the short-term plan. Thank you. Now, have you any questions? Making up short-term plan. Have you any questions? Have you any questions? We have no questions. Everything is clear for you. Райхан Асылбековна, I got everything. Thank you, Jim Sanesovna. Хорошо. Ал жақсы, құрметті менің тыңдаушыларым. Сіздердің қатысқандарың үшін рахмет. әдемі, жарасымды, жұғымды комментарияларыңыз үшін рахмет. Ерекше комментарияларыңыз үшін рахмет айтам. Барлықтарыңызға сәттілік тілеймін. Бүгін біз сабағымызды аяқтаймыз. Бүгінгі сабақ түсінікті деп мен ойлаймын. Барлықтарыңызға жақсы, сау болыңыздар. Көргенше амандықта болайық. Сау болыңыздар.